What's up, Leafs fans? Welcome back to Leafs Nation After Dark. I'm Zack Phillips, and tonight we're going to be breaking down game number 2 of the Toronto Maple Leafs 2024 Stanley Cup playoffs, and I'm not going to make you wait any longer to bring them in. Helping us break this one down here tonight, bring a positive vibe to the show because things could have gone the other way. Could have been a very negative direction. Nick Alberga, you know him here from the Morning Take Show, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Nick, how you feeling after this one? Tie the series up. I think that's what they say, right? It's you don't have a series until you win one on the road. Well, there you go. 1-1 back to Toronto.
Holy shit. I'm 34. I feel like I'm 48. I can't believe it's just the second game of the playoffs and how stressed I was watching that hockey game. And we're going to go over everything that transpired, man. It's very symbolic because the regular season was a roller coaster. I thought game 2 was a roller coaster as well.
It was. I think that this was an incredible road win. If people follow me on Twitter, you would have seen a video that I put out. Nick, I saw you put it out as well. Like, there was a point where my head almost exploded during the second intermission. I'm sure we'll talk about that as well. But you want to talk about this Leafs season encapsulated in one tweet or one moment or one thing? It's just like, it's roller coaster. That's what this has been. That's what it's been following this team this year. You start at this big inning. They don't have it. They can't do it. Tree living signings suck. Turns into, wow, these guys are a team. They can rip. Putting different lines together. Domi, Bertuzzi, they suck. Can't play them. It's just been up and down all season long. So why would it not be like that comes game 2 of the playoffs? And why not go 5-1 loss opening and everyone hits the panic button, including myself? I'll hand up. I was hitting the panic button to, like, this is a great win. Incredible win.
You know what's wild is, like, the first period ended, and I won't lie, I exchanged a couple texts, had a couple phone calls, and I said, that's it. I called
So
this
did
game a
I.
must-win. I called it a must-win. Leafs Morning Take, I said it was a must-win game, and people are like, you're crazy. No, it was a must-win game. You don't win 4 or 5 against the Boston Bruins. It's really, really hard to do. Now, ultimately, you can look back to last year, the whole series of Florida. I get it. But the way Boston plays Toronto, it will be difficult to beat that team 4 times in 5 games. So this one was crucial. It goes without saying. But just the way that first period went down, I had the worst pit of my stomach when they scored with, 14 seconds left. It didn't need to happen. Just so nonchalant. And we've seen that throughout the season. That first period in general, like, took, I think, 10, 15 years off my life. And then there's the rest of the hockey game, too.
Well, is that last goal, though, like, at the end of the period, 7 seconds left, whatever it is on the clock, is that not just, like, the encapsulation of Toronto Maple Leafs hockey in the Matthews era? Like, that was everything. I tweeted out at the end, I'm like, that's Leafs hockey. Like, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking, clean this one up, you're okay. It's the same thing I was thinking last night at the end of or on Saturday night, at the end of the first period. I'm like, you didn't play like that great, but you didn't play poorly here, and you're only down 1-0 on the road. Like, to clean this one up, go into the second, you'll be fine. Shit the bed in the second in terms of what the score ended up being at the end of that. But I'm like, you're playing well. Like, you're playing pretty well here to open this. You've responded well. You got no William Nylander. Let's just tidy this thing up. Samsonov plays the puck. Okay, fine. But then it's a clusterfuck. Puck comes on net. This guy's concussed. Not concussed. Like, he's taking pucks off the chin.
Hey, did you see Keith's face on that? You didn't even want to look at the guy because he fucking knows, man.
Yeah. And, like, that guy of all people, too. Like, not trying to call him out or anything, but, like,
Yeah.
that's the quickest. Oh, he's down. He's gone. Like, you hear Jeff O'Neill talk about it on Overdrive all the time. It's trying to stay healthy. It's like, no, he's not going to be able to do it. I watched that right away. I said to my roommates, I'm like, oh, he's done. Like, Wall's coming in here. Stays in. But then after, just on top of that, I mean, we can break the play down here as well because people want to talk about it, too. Like, I heard them talking about it on the panel. I have some buddies who playing pro still, and I texted one of them. I sent them the clip, and I was like, yo, this is what I thought happened here. Can you help me see what's going on? I'm like, it was a clusterfuck from the beginning, right? You've got Benoit sticks with Pastrnak. I think that's the right play. The one thing I missed in the moment was Matthew Knies over-aggressive going out to Charlie McAvoy, over-committing to that play. Bumps into Simone Benoit, kind of takes him out, which it's like their own pick. Like, they set a pick on each other, opens up Pastrnak. You don't have the weak side support from Marner, who is paying attention to the defenseman, fair enough, but also at the same time, like, having the recognition. 7 seconds left. It's just everyone all of a sudden loses their heads and can't keep their composure, and now you're down 1 going into the intermission.
Okay, so a couple things on Mitch Marner because I think he was a subject of ridicule in this game, and there's a certain play surfacing on social media. I won't lie. After the first period, I was like, I had a tweet set up where it's like, if the Leafs even take a call from Marner in his camp this summer, they're fucking idiots. I probably
Yeah.
still feel that way. There's no solution in my world that it makes sense to bring back Mitch Marner, especially if what I've seen in game 1 and 2 is going to continue here in the first round. I'm sorry to say it, man. The guy is an unbelievable regular season player. He just, the fact that he needs to be with Austin Matthews to produce is lunacy to me, especially when you go into negotiations this summer. And rest assured, I can tell you for a fact he's going to ask for more than the 11-5 that Willie Nylander got. It's a whole surfacing conversation we're going to have throughout the playoffs, but enough is enough. Like it just ain't happening for Mitch Marner to play. Like I feel like I'm watching Groundhog Day every time I watch this guy play in the playoffs. I don't know if you read it the same way, but the lack of urgency, it's a different game too. Like for all the guys in the regular season, like Marner and Robertson, it's just a much
Yep.
different game when the playoffs, and it's just not conducive to their style and brand, unfortunately.
No, you talked about it this morning on the morning show. I heard you
Yeah.
bringing up Nick Robertson. These I think the word you used was skill players. They're great to have, but those are not your driving players. Those guys who fit that mold, the guys who play that way, they're just not your drivers. Like you, at some point, no matter how much of a fan you are of the guy, you kind of got to
Yeah.
take the step back and say, this guy's not the driving player. And that's when, that was when my head almost exploded during the second intermission when I'm watching Domi, Bertuzzi, and Matthews. You know what? They got their deficiencies. Like every single line has them. It's going to happen. There are moments where you're going to sit there and say, why is Tyler Bertuzzi's ass like facing the wrong way and his stick's above his head and he's not wearing a glove? Like it's gonna happen. But you take the bad with the good because they bring so much positive chaos. Controlled chaos is what I've been calling it. And they create opportunities, they sustain pressure. And then I'm listening to the panel and these guys are telling me, you've got to put Mitch Marner back on the first line to get this guy going. Like, Nick, am I wrong, or does his cap friendly not say he makes almost 11 million fucking dollars? Like, that's got to be the most insane argument I'm hearing. Like, you've got to get this guy going. No, there's no getting him going. You get going yourself. I can't have you riding coattails with other guys. Like, that can't happen.
I hope this is proof. This again, I hope it turns around for Marner. I think most notably he made a great defensive play late in the game with like 20 seconds left to get the puck out of the zone. Boston was coming, like they wanted that goal so bad, and you're going to get that. And I think guys should be commended for making those tough plays. Even David Camp. I know I had the over in the game. I was a little disappointed at the side of the post, but hey, they got the victory. So we will give some credit there. But I think you're so right. Like you need to deliver.
Yeah.
Like plain and simple. John Tavares gets a lot of heat, dude. I thought he was a fucking dog in this game. Okay,
I agree.
like if you look at the resume and the track record of John Tavares, it's starting to pile up in terms of big fucking goals for this franchise. And I understand they've won playoff series victory in nearly 2 decades, but go look at the big goals this team has scored the last couple of years. The hat trick, I think, in Game 2 last year against Tampa, the series clincher against Tampa, the goal tonight to get them back even in the game, especially after the Bertuzzi goal was called back. Like, there's just a lot that's transpiring where it's like, holy shit, like you don't realize it, but John Tavares is scoring some big time goals for this team. So I think he deserves a lot of credit. I want to give a shout out to the PK as well, Zach. I mean, that
Yeah.
we can get into that too about composure. I think that's certainly a storyline as we move forward in this series and discipline. And the scary thing is, it's like Tyler Bertuzzi who played for that fucking team last year. And it's like, I don't know what they were doing. World-class sell, as you referenced in our text on Brad Marchand's part, but they bear down, man. I think plain and simple, this team bared down and got the job done. And that's been missing against Boston in recent series. So great to see.
We got 50 likes here on the stream, Nick. We'll
Great.
keep going here on breaking this game down. We'll talk more about the lines and what we're seeing out of these guys, but we got 50 likes. For anyone who's watching for the first time right now, every set of 50 likes, smelling salts. Nick, I'm probably going to have to get you a bottle just for at least when you come on the show for when it happens. I think that's going to have to be the case, but yeah, I'll hit the smelling salts here. And we'll do that. So thanks to everyone who liked. If you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Myself and doing the post-game shows, game previews, giving out best bets. That one hit there tonight as well. And you find Nick, Rosie, Carter Hutton, Anthony Stewart, Monday through Friday, right here on this channel, breaking everything down. But thank you to everyone who hit the like button. Nick, I had to do it 6 times on Saturday night. 6 times.
Hey, I hope it's 12 times tonight. I'm sorry for you, but I hope it's a lot. So people keep it coming at the Leafs Nation 401. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, give it up for Zack, bringing it as per usual here on the post-game show. A Maple Leafs victory. For as bad as we felt on Saturday night, I think these guys deserve a lot of credit. I know we're piling up on Mitch Marner. The Paul Marner fan club is in the chat right now. They're bitching at us. So be it. I thought he was dog shit in this game, and they pay this guy to score and get points and be a difference maker, and he hasn't been any of those. And I guess he's reliant on the guy who scored 69 goals in the regular season. But hey, Austin Matthews, man, like I know a lot of sarcasm in there, but Austin Matthews, like that's another legacy moment for this guy, right? Like
Yep.
I think when you look at who needed to score that goal, it just felt like it wasn't going to be a bottom six guy. Maybe it was John Tavares, maybe it was Marner, but for Austin Matthews to corral that puck, the pass that Domi made, it was very reminiscent. You remember a couple of years back, I think it was Carlson to Mike Hoffman,
Yep.
where he it was an incredible
pass.
sauce, yeah, like it had that feel to it. But then like also the finish, like Linus Ullmark, I thought was really really good in this game, and ultimately I think great thing for Toronto. There's going to be second guessing in the Boston media over the next couple of days why they went with Linus Ullmark after Swayman played in game one. But man, that was an onion bag of a goal. Like that just continues to build that resume in terms of greatness for Austin Matthews. You'd love to see it.
What'd you call that? An onion bag of a goal?
Yeah, onions, because you're crying, man. It leaves the opponent crying, buddy. It's a Chuck Swirsky special from back in the day when he called Raptors games. One of my favorites.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, he had Ullmark in the shadow realm when he hit him with the little hesitation, the head
filthy,
fake,
dude.
forehand, backhand, pulls it back to the forehand, goes tit on him. I mean, I want to talk about Matthews here. We have a super chat. We'll answer all these, and we've got a new little animation here to play tonight. So let's hit the super chat, and I'll ask you about this. All right, there you go. Super chat animation, little audio going, the whole nine, buddy. The whole nine. That's what you get here on the After Dark show. Okay, Nate92 says, huge game from Maddie, Sammy, and Domi. Seeing the best player actually be the best player is a good sign. I kind of want to key in on the last part of that. Seeing the best player actually be the best player is a good sign. The one thing that I've talked about over and over again, you guys had me on your show on Friday morning. I kind of brought it up there. I've heard you talk about this nonstop, and it's like, we can talk until, our faces turn blue about the depth. Are they going to have the depth? Are you going to have guys contributing down in the bottom six? Is the D good enough? Is the goaltending good enough? That's fine. Let's assume everything is average, okay? If your best players are not the best players, or at least not the players that we all expect them to be, you are stuck up Schitt's Creek without a paddle, because those guys are making that much money, are supposed to be driving the team as much as we all anticipate them to. You got two on the or you traditionally have had two on the top line, two on the second line. You've at least broken it out here. But if those guys do not play to their capabilities, you're gonna be fucked. And we've seen it year after year with this group. I've been so impressed with Austin Matthews. He didn't get the results in game one. I think he was around it. I think he created chances. I think that's partially why you and I walked away with that little bit of PTSD of he created chances and didn't score. But then here tonight, you win 3-2. Austin Matthews is in on all 3 goals, and he scores the winner. Can you even begin to put into words for even yourself just how important that is, or how different that feels to see him just be like, nope, fuck it, I'm taking over this game?
You can, but I would loop in Tavares into that convo too.
Fair.
You need games like this where it's like your best players are your best players. And I think so far through 2 games, I think it's been pretty much a wash, right? Where you look at Pastrnak, his night, Marchand's been awfully quiet. And I think you just look at Matthews, you need these types of games. I think he had one last year as well. It was the 4-1 game where I think Kerfoot scored an OT, where it was Matthews had a couple of monster goals in the third period with his DNA were all over the comeback. You need that. And again, I look back at previous postseasons. I've really never questioned Austin Matthews. I think he still brings that that like physical component that unfortunately Mitch Marner, that's just not his brand. That's not his style. It's not his game. So you notice it a bit more when he's not producing. But I think the last couple of years specifically, like, Austin Matthews has done his thing offensively. The supporting cast has been nowhere to be found. Like, I think you should do a smelling salt just for the Maple Leafs scoring a third goal tonight, dude. Like this is like games in the making. I can't believe it took 9 games to the Leafs to score more than 2 goals. You sort of feel for their goalies. Like
Yeah.
Samsonov was another big story in this game for, the heat he's taken the last couple days. I thought he made some monster saves in the third period, second period as well. But as you mentioned it, I think you nailed it off the top. It's like your lunch pail type victory on the road. Like it doesn't matter how you get the job done, just get the fucking job done. Like, right? Like that's all we're talking about now. We're talking about a Maple Leafs victory that this whole series has changed from being down 2-0 to 1-1. And now you have home ice for game 3 and 4. And I think if it goes according to plan, you can grab a 3-1 lead. So like it's
Yeah.
a check mark, I think, if you're Sheldon Keefe. And I think the biggest positive, like, they haven't even played their best game yet. Like, I
Yes.
know it's a big if. Like, what if Mitch Marner gets going? What if Willie Nylander can return from Mexico or wherever he is right now? Like, who knows what's going on with that guy? But like, there's a lot of ifs. If that can transpire, I'm certainly feeling much better about this team than I was, say, 49 minutes ago. So that's great.
Okay, couple things. You brought up smelling salts. You brought up William Nylander. I see some stuff in the chat here as well. I want to talk about this. So we did hit 100 here again. So we'll do the smelling salts again. I mean, thank you everyone in the chat. We appreciate it. You keep going. We keep doing the smelling salts, or I keep doing the smelling salts. That's just how it works. But thanks everyone who hit the like button. There you go. Oh my God.
I don't know if you missed it. I think you were there when I said it. I bought smelling salts last year, and I told Rosie I was doing it, and he's like, "You're an idiot." Yeah, we talked about it, I think, last time. It's for anybody who hasn't done it. It's like the most rancid, like overwhelming feeling, but it's
Yeah.
actually like a cool hit. So,
Oh yeah, it's nice. I do that before I go to the gym as well. It's just wakes you up. I mean, I guess I do it
gives you that
live
hit.
on camera, so it's not like it's fucking any different for me to do it to go to the gym. But yeah, there you go. We do have super chat here as well. I'll just get to this quickly. Max Entius Decimus, thank you for the super chat, Max. Loyal viewer here in the chat, loyal super chatter. Max says, cheeks were clenched, hands sweaty, but they did it. They did get it done, Max. And our cheeks were clenched all the way down the stretch there watching that one. You know who else's cheeks had supposedly been clenched and hands sweaty was William Nylander. We're hearing all these rumors that he's sick. You know, he's dealing. Rosie speculated Saturday night. This guy's on the shitter. Maybe he can't get it done. Now we're seeing him. I don't know. I would assume you saw it. The video of him out on the ice this morning. One of my buddies sent a video to me, and he just the video to me of him ripping one-timers, and he goes, "How the fuck is this guy out on the ice ripping one-timers, wheeling around, messing around with the goalies, and he can't get on the ice for 2 games in the playoffs?" Like, 100%. Okay, he's sick. I get it. Game 1, no worries. I fully was on board with what Rosie said. Back to back, and he was skating this morning. What the fuck is going on, Nick? Where is this guy?
Tummy sticks, man. Like, and you remember back to last year's playoffs, like Matthew Tkachuk's playing with a broken sternum, and then like Nylander's out with whatever's going on right now. You know, it's interesting too, because like everything, and the guys, Rosie specifically, and I think Stewie thought I made too much about Sheldon Keefe's comments after game 82 about Nylander thinking he was done with the regular season. And then weirdly enough, the next day he wakes up feeling limp or whatever the terminology was. Like, it's just a bizarre situation where it's almost like, can you just come out and say if he's hurt or if he's sick? Or, man, I've had people calling me and texting me all day.
Yep.
Like, I agree with you. Like, I felt like if he was out there for the morning skate and he was out there for the optional on Sunday, he was playing. Like, it's a Stanley Cup playoffs, especially. I think it's so weird for a guy who's played every game for like the last 6-7 years, and this is what holds him out.
Right. This is what I'm just like failing to comprehend here. Like, Saturday he didn't skate, or Friday he didn't skate. Saturday we don't see him at all, which when Rosie comes on and he's like, he's probably sick, this is what it could be. I'm like, you know what? Fair enough. Like, you didn't even go on the ice. If you just, let's call it what it is. If you just got the shits, like, fair, you can't play. You've got nothing in you. You can't go. You don't got the energy. I don't know that I could blame the guy. if you're out there skating, what are you doing? That's what I don't get. I'm like, this is the playoffs, dude.
I have a buddy who works in hockey. That's all I'll say. He texted me tonight during the game. He's like, he sends me the clip of like him ripping one tees in the morning skate, which again, I thought was just utterly ridiculous. And he's playing tummy sticks. Like he's laughing with his teammates. I'm like, this is no joke. You lose tonight. Your fucking season's done. And your extension hasn't even kicked in. And the whole city hates you. I'm sorry. But my buddy's like, if you watch closely the laughing and the way he handles the puck, I've been in this situation like that. I was embarrassed of being scratched or something stupid, and you make a joke of it so that people don't think it hurt you. Just my thoughts. But again, there's been wild speculation. I had a buddy during the game, and this is Leafs Nation to a T. It's like you hear from a guy who knows a guy. But he's like, I heard appendicitis. I heard somebody say disciplinary. Somebody said lower back, upper back. Like, we don't fucking know, okay? Stop calling me. Stop texting me. Why the fuck would some guy on a YouTube show know anything about what's going on with Willie Nylander? I'm not that dialed in, okay? I may have some phone numbers in my phone book. It's about it. It's not even a phone book. It's my cell phone. So, again, we'll find out. I'm going to game 3 on Wednesday. I hope this fucking guy shows up. And enough of this bullshit where it's like, unless you're dead, dude, I'm not kidding. Unless you're dead, you're on the ice or you're playing. Like, how bad do you want it? And again, it's unfair, and I feel bad speculating. But then I see him like laughing at the morning skate, and I'm like, dude, how are you not on the ice? Like, do you not give a fuck?
This morning was the one that I was like, what the hell is going on? Because fair enough before, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever, injury, whatever. To see those videos, I'm like,
it's wild.
Get this off my phone. Fucking, I'm closing this app. Like, I can't look at this anymore. I was pissed.
It's wild, but it's so Toronto. Like, the fact that like no postseason could start without drama. Yeah, especially for a guy, again, he does not take games off. Like you can call Nylander soft, but he's very Phil Kessel, and like every game he's gonna play. Yes. And now that he missed his 2 games in a row, you're like, man, this guy must be close to death. Like Bob McMahon, nobody's seen this guy for weeks. Like now I see it. He's probably not playing for a while, you know?
Yeah. Well, a guy that I would not be pissed off about here tonight would be Ilya Samsonov and his level of play. 909 save percentage. He faces 33 shots, makes 30 saves. I think more than anything, it's not just about the save percentage. It's not how many saves he made. It's when and how he made some of those. 931 save percentage, 29 shots, 27 saves. It's not the save percentage. It's not how many saves he made. It was when he made those saves. He made big saves in big moments. He bailed the team out a couple of times in the second period. In the third period, they're just with, getting positionally sound, squaring up to the puck, being strong in front of the net, not allowing Boston, who's a team who will come in tight. And like that last play where Matthews is covering the puck up there, maybe Samsonov could do some things different. I'm not a goalie expert here, but like, you're going to have Boston swarming you. And he did not panic. You saw him just kind of stay even-keeled throughout the rest of the game. Deals with whatever head trauma he suffered at the end of the first period and battles through this one. What do you make of the decision that they went with to go back to him? Obviously, here now, in hindsight, it looks like it was the right one. But how do you kind of break down his game and his mental state after that?
So firstly, for those of you like looking at me and I get my eyebrows chirped all the time, my eyes are bulging. Firstly, because I'm reading the box scores from these fucking games happening right now. Carolina just scored 4 straight goals in the third period, up 5-3 now. And then I was pumped because I have a Jake Gensel anytime goal, scores an empty netter with 19:04 left. And then the other thing where I look over, who do you fucking think scores for Vegas?
No. Did Thomas Hertl?
It's Stone? 2-0 Vegas, and Mark Stone scores the first goal of the playoffs, 123 in. But anyways, back to Samsonov. Sorry, folks. I know we're a Leafs show, but
that's all
it is just bewildering stuff in the NHL world. Sammy, this is the effort he needed because this market, one bad game in the playoffs, and it's like, who's behind you? Who's behind you? They got 17 guys behind them. They got fucking Matt Murray. I listened to this show on Saturday. And I was reading the chat, Anthony Stewart style. People were asking for Matt Murray to play a hockey game, which is preposterous. It's a big time word for me. Preposterous is the word I would use. But anyways, Sammy was massive because he made some big time stops. Like even the goals, I was really frustrated with Sammy on the second goal, more so because of how nonchalantly he tried to handle that puck, which led to the faceoff, which led to the Boston goal. It's like a
Right.
domino effect with this team. Just get out of that period 1-1 and you're good. Obviously, looking back, it's like, yeah, they won the game, so you feel good about it. But I think they don't win that game without Ilya Samsonov. And it was like your prototypical road game. It had to be dirty. They grinded some big time hits, some big time shot blocks, a big time penalty kill. The power play comes through. Like everything you want to see happen, but nothing is made possible without Ilya Samsonov. So I think he deserves a lot of credit because it's been a very, very, according to theme, roller coaster season for him too.
Yeah. The chat is in one right now. Everyone saying there's a lot of Marner go away, Marner the new Hall. People speculating that Willie's being disciplined right now, and I saw a couple
Okay,
Murray comments.
So my bounce back on the whole like discipline thing for Willie. It's been what, like 5 years of Sheldon Keefe, and he has yet to discipline a player outside of David fucking Camp when he's like, yeah, accountability. We're gonna healthy
now.
scratch David Camp. So like, give me a break. I can see it, I understand it, but like, there's no way in hell if you're Sheldon Keefe, your job is on the line. I think it's crystal clear. He doesn't win this series. It's curtains. There's no way you're gonna be like, you know what, Willie, fuck you. You took the last 3 weeks of the season off. You're not playing. So I can't. I don't buy that rumor.
No, I do not either. One thing that I think is interesting with Sheldon Keefe and the whole mental game about what goes on here. We're seeing right now this fourth line be absolutely incredible. I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but are you at all worried that Keefe is going to overthink himself when we get home and we have last change and he's got the ability to put lines out there like he did against Tampa when he went full hero mode and had Ryan Reeves, David Kampf out there against Kucherov and Point and Stamkos? I think it was in the second period in that game against the Lightning at home. Like, that's just that's a small incident that I'm looking at there, but like I have concerns now heading back home with Keefe's ability to line matches. That's something where he's just going to overthink this. Like, it gets taken out of his hands on the road. It's the other coach. Is there any concern about him kind of doing anything like that?
Of course there is. Of course there is. It's Sheldon Keefe. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get. We saw Marner play with Matthews. Would you be shocked if he comes right back with that? Like, again, the fact you got to get a guy going who makes 10.93 sheets a year is insane to me. But I think you give credit where it's due. David Camp played 15-17 tonight. Connor Dewar, 11-06. Your boy, Nicky Robertson, 721. He's not actually your boy. But like, I'm just like reading, like Ryan Reeves played 10-32 in a playoff game. But again, these guys deserve their flowers, man. Like, they're making a difference. They're hard to play against. They're hemming Boston in their zone. Like, that's the best remedy for being a shit line, is like stay in the O-zone and grind it down, man. Grind those D down. There was a shift in the first period. Ryan Reeves delivered 2 crushing body checks, and it just happened with the overturn on the line change that Matthews is on. They drew a penalty. Like, you're laughing if you're Ryan Reeves in that. Like, I just think the guy, like, it's not getting enough play, I think, in this market, just to turn around for Ryan Reeves, where admittedly I went on my show and I'm like, this guy's unplayable. Like, everybody we had on, Rosie felt the same way, to a point where it's like, this guy's a mainstay in the lineup. He's proving his worth. Like, yeah, he has his deficiencies, but that line has become so crucial to setting a tone, especially when you look through 2 games. I think you can legitimately say maybe the Matthews line has been their top line, but I think the fourth line is right there with them.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you'd agree with that.
Pound for pound, 100%. That's the thing. I was watching this game tonight, and through the first and then second, I was kind of getting frustrated because I'm like, the first line is your best line right now, by far. I think that they were good in game 1. I think that they just didn't capitalize. Some things didn't go their way. It is what it is. You move on. The fourth line, other than that first goal against, was the best line that the Leafs had, just kind of relative to their competition, how they were performing against the Bruins first line, their ability to take over shifts, maintain pressure, turn momentum. It was happening all night in game 1. They carried it over into this game here tonight. That's partially why I look at, like, Mitch, like, let's get going here, because I agree with you. JT played really well tonight. Who had no points? The guy playing alongside of him, who's supposed to be this premier setup man and playmaker and everything. Like, Not going to continue to go back down that road, but you're looking at first line, fourth line, and in between there, I'm looking at vanilla. Like, it's just like kind of
Give me something.
right.
Yeah.
I just need a little bit out of you, like between that, because I used to watch the fourth line go out there and want to like hit my head against the desk being like, I cannot believe he's doing this again. Why is he trusting this line? Like, we're not able to score. We're playing either neutral zone or in our own zone trying to defend the whole time. This is full 180 here, Nick. We're in the offensive zone. You got Ryan Reeves, who, and I say this, try to say this the right way, like he's running around without ever being out of position somehow. Like,
I know.
Like he's just like hitting every single thing in sight. He's not taking penalties aside from that one tonight, but like I don't understand how they called that. Regardless,
What the fuck was that?
like, how are you calling that in a Stanley Cup playoff game?
It was wild.
I don't get that.
I go out on King Street West on Friday nights, and rest assured, I'm horny. I'm good to go. I want to go out. But like these refs are a different level horny. Like Ron Jeremy horny in the 70s, dude. I don't understand what that call was. Like on both sides. Like, how do you call too many men on the ice when the guy's dragged it? Like, I don't know if he was dragged into the bench. Like, it's weird.
It's like it's a collision at the bench. I think you just say fuck it, keep it moving. Like, you're good. It's playoff hockey, boys. He grabs the guy, pulls him it, like he grabs the guy's arm, tugs on it a little bit. Now Boston's getting too many men. Now the Leafs are getting a holding. I'm like, this is the one thing I've tried through the whole time I've ever been doing these shows, the post games or anything. Like, I try to explain, for the most part, try to remove like any fandom bias that I have when it comes to like the officiating of games. The Leafs did not get fucked over here tonight. They did not get fucked over in game one, but I can still say the reffing is god awful in both of these games here with some of these calls that they're making. It's not being like for 60 minutes, but it's just like Bertuzzi / Marchand all-time dive
like
there.
they want to get airtime on TV, you know?
They think 20,000 people are in the stadium to watch them blow the whistle.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, even again, I don't know how you feel about the late power play there. Like, let's be honest, it's Brad Marchand. Like, Brad Marchand has a reputation. Like, to give him that call is a joke to me. It's an absolute fucking joke. It's Brad Marchand, man. This guy licked a dude in a hockey game a couple years ago and is known for being a diver. And you're giving him the benefit of the doubt that he was dangerously slashed, gets up like he's fucking dead, goes to the bench, and all of a sudden he's right back to talk to the official. Like, I can't believe the refs buy into that bullshit. Having said that, Bertuzzi has to know better to even cross the hill. I don't know why they were snapping so much there, even Labushkin. But I just thought it was a weird moment in the game to be like, you know what? We're going to determine what happens. Are the Bruins going to tie it up? Are the Leafs going to shit themselves again? It was just, again, if you're going to call those, call those. But then call the hook on Robertson in the first period that they blatantly missed. Like, it just like, there's no consistency at all. Like, I don't know what's going to be called, what's not going to be called.
That's my biggest beef. Consistency. Like, the other thing I'm watching is if you want to call the McCabe penalty a penalty, no issue. But last night I'm watching Winnipeg, Colorado, and you've got guys like committing murder. And it's just play on, boys. And it's like, yeah, we all love watching that. That's playoff hockey. But then I flip the TV on tonight, and it's like, guy goes to the front of the net. I say take a liberty, but like, you know what I mean. He like goes to the front of the net, kind of like gives Samsonov a little bit of business. Nothing egregious at all. It's fine. McCabe comes in, cross checks him to the box. I'm sitting here going, am I watching a different sport than what just happened yesterday? Like, is this is a different set of rules than what went on? And I got no problem with them calling McCabe's. It's just yesterday, that's no issue. Yesterday, you're good to go.
It's just funny, like, to me, to paint a picture. Like, even 12 months ago, the Leafs were known as probably one of the softest teams in the NHL, and now they're being called by the officials like they're the dirtiest team in the league. You know, there's like no in between. It's like, man, God forbid somebody fucking slash somebody after a whistle in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Like, maybe you're a bit too young, but go watch those series with Detroit and Colorado back in the day. I vividly remember Kirk Maltby, like, every fucking shift would steal like an ass player's stick, break it, bring it on the bench. There'd be like fucking tummy 16 the two benches, nothing called. Now it's like a little push. Like, that whole thing on Marchand was a joke to me. Like, maybe it was worse in real time on the ice, but like the way he went down and the love tap that was given, like, I wondered, is this a Stanley Cup playoffs, or am I watching the preseason in front of 500 people at Scotiabank?
Exactly. It's just the degree of which some of these things are being called outrageous.
Yeah.
Outrageous. Like, I just can't gauge. There's times where I'm watching a guy get smoked from behind, and then it's just like, you're kind of sitting there being like, okay, power play's coming. And it doesn't, and then you continue on, and it's like the guy gets like a little love
Yeah.
tap to the ankle. He doesn't even react, but the ref's putting his hand
Yeah.
up.
I was
I
gonna say too, just to interrupt, I was gonna say too, I love what I saw from Tyler Bertuzzi even after the game. Like you could
Going
tell
at
like he
Marchand.
started to develop that hatred, right? Because
Yeah.
last year, remember early back in November playing a bit of tummy sticks with Boston, smiling and all that bullshit with Liljegren. I think he realized, hey, I'm a Toronto Maple Leaf. I'm supposed to hate these guys. And I think he has shown it. Like he's gonna score a big goal at some point in time. Like there's gonna be a moment where you need that goal. I know somebody was asking in the chat, maybe you can answer this. If you put Nylander in, who's coming out? I know my answer. Who would you answer?
Oh, I think
How about
it's
the guy who
got to
was
be
robbed
Nick
by Allmark
Roberts.
in the third period?
Yeah, it's got to be Nick Robertson.
Yeah.
I don't care how you have to adjust these. I don't care if you have to have somebody playing a little bit of an off position. It's not even like I look at Nick Robertson like a detriment right now. I'm just like, you do nothing. Like you just do nothing.
Well,
If
put
you're
it
not
this
scoring,
way.
you do nothing.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. Like, put it this way. So you look at game one. I brought this up on the show today. The big separator for me in game one is a Swayman saved up 1-0 on Nick Robertson and would have tied the game in the first period.
Yep.
The story tonight, again, third period, what a save by Allmark. Like Robertson's almost like a hired gun where I don't think he's good enough defensively. Like if you're not scoring and you're not producing, you're not in my lineup. And I think it's pretty simple. It's not going to be Matthew Nyes because I think his 200-foot game is way better.
Yep.
It ain't going to be Cali Yarncroke because that's Keith's boy and he's just a veteran. He knows how to get the job done. So by process of elimination, you're not taking anybody off that fourth line. Maybe it's Mitch Marner. Maybe they do that.
Yeah, yeah, right. He's the one who's getting disciplined now. Nylander back in, Marner goes
Dude, Marner,
out.
Marner took game 1 and 2 off. It's the same thing.
Yeah, he just took
Sorry,
a
Paul
spot
Marner's
up.
going to come after me again. I don't want to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
we don't need that here. I
No.
have one more thing to ask you about a player, but
Yeah.
before I can ask you, we did get 150 likes here on the stream. I want more.
Boom.
I want to do the salts again and again and again. So hit the like button. 150. Thank you to everyone for the third time here tonight. There you go. The one guy that had kind of stood out to me the wrong way. I don't want to go down too much of the negative road, but I think it's kind of something that has to be addressed because we know that there's someone sitting in the rafters that Sheldon Keefe would love to have back in this lineup for no reason other than he's got an affinity for him. That would be TJ Brody. And Timothy Liljegren, to me, struggled here tonight. I don't know if he was struggling with the pressure. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, shocking. But I don't know if it was the pressure that the Bruins were bringing that was causing it. I don't know if he's just not mature enough. I don't know if it was just a bad game here tonight. But I just kept watching him, and it was like panic play with the puck, soft play with the puck, missing passes. Like, he just was not taking care of it here tonight. It could have resulted a lot worse on a couple of the plays that he made than it actually ended up being. Like, so there were some chances generated that Samsonov was able to snuff out, or some of the forwards were able to kind of just turn into nothing plays that could have been a whole lot worse. What do you make of his game here tonight? And do you foresee any type of change going forward in the next game? Or like, are you just kind of saying, hey, you know what? Other than William Nylander, depending on his availability, this lineup stays next game.
No, I thought they grinded. I wouldn't make a change just for the sake of making a change, and maybe you can protect guys a bit better with last change. But I subscribe to the school. Like if you win a hockey game, you don't change that lineup. So I probably wouldn't. Having said that, I mean this isn't new information specifically to the calculator community. Like it's a different game. It's a different game in the Stanley Cup playoffs. I know some people are ragging on Joel Edmondson. That guy's fucking dirty, man. Like he's nasty. He'll fucking claw you. Like you just need like again, it's less about being skilled and more about just being a savage to play against. Because then it makes a guy second guess coming back at you in the scrums. And I do feel like actively like the Leafs are wearing away on Boston a bit in this series. Just how much they're playing the body, how heavy they've been with the body, the scrums in front. I thought Boston looked gassed in the second part of the game. In the third period, like they were on their heels, which again is great to see and great to say, especially on home ice. You love to see that. But I think from Liljegren, he is what he is at this point. Like he's very similar to Rasmus Sandin, where he's going to have his moments. He's a smaller type guy. He's not going to be utilizing his body. But I think it's a copycat league, but you look at the successful teams, man, they're big, they're mobile. I don't look at that Maple Leafs decor and say, you know what, they're big and mobile. Like they got some guys who can push you around a bit. Labushkin's doing his best. I think he obviously is he's not the best, but I think he's a serviceable guy right now. Ditto for Edmondson. You just need him in your lineup. But there are no other alternatives that I think make sense. Like maybe Mark Giordano, maybe, but I wouldn't just make a change right now. I just think you ride the momentum. You hopefully pick up another win and you roll on and hope that Liljegren has a big night. But this is pretty much what he is in his career. I don't know if you feel differently.
No, I wish I had something to add to that. I don't. That's who he is. Like, this is what he is. I just was more wondering. I'm like watching tonight. I'm like, this guy's not looking great out there.
Like I just, the more and more I watch the playoffs, the more like they're going to throw money at Zadorov this summer. Like he's just, you need fucking monsters, man. Like, and I watch the Leafs, and again, I give them credit because these D, specifically Liljegren, Riley, like does his best, but he's not that imposing figure on the blue line, right? And none of them are, for that matter. Like maybe Edmondson at his size, and I love the grit and sandpaper that guy plays with, and he's the only guy on the fucking team, by the way, that will put the puck off the glass and just ice the puck. There's nothing wrong with that. They did it a couple times tonight, so I was pumped about that. But they have to make do with what they have. Ultimately, I hope they don't fall short here in the Stanley Cup playoffs, but I think you look. Oh my goodness, my Adam Henrique anytime goal just hit. You love to see it. Anyways, and Zach Hyman scored before. But you like they just have those type of guys that you have to make do what you have. And I think this is a work in progress in the blue line. I think a lot of people would agree with that right now.
Good night for you betting there as well. Good night for myself. Good night for the chat. If anybody followed along, I gave out Tyler Bertuzzi power play point earlier, plus Boom. 400. That one cashes there, so that's nice for everyone who is betting on that over at Bet365. Nick, before I get you out of here, you've been very generous with your time, so I appreciate that. Before I get you out of here, you're going to the game Thursday, correct?
I am, yeah.
Give me a prediction. You're going to be in the building. Give me a prediction. This is what it's all about here. I come on this thing. I don't have any time to calm down. Hence why I was just yelling for 10 minutes straight to start last night's show before Rosie came in and was like, it's gonna be okay, bud. But it's all about takes. Let's get a take. We're not gonna hold you to it. Maybe a little bit, but what do you got? What's coming up Wednesday?
I think the Leafs are gonna have to withstand a drive by Boston in the first 10 minutes of that game. I like the fact that they haven't played their best hockey yet and are 1-1 in this series, but it comes down to 16. It comes down to Mitch Marner. It comes down to guys like that. Can they score the big goal? But I'll say the Leafs win. Game 3 of this series, and I'll give it a 4-2 score.
4-2. Someone in the chat there, Semcast, 4-2 Leafs.
There it is.
There you go. Yeah. Very nice. Did I say Thursday? My bad. Wednesday.
I thought you said Wednesday.
I thought I said Wednesday.
I think you're ready for Greta Bar to open on Thursday. That's why.
I think so. There you go. Nick, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. I appreciate that. For those of you in the chat, we'll have a couple more things, but you can catch Nick tomorrow morning right here on this channel. Like, that's how easy this is. You get the post-game show, you get Rosie come through, you get Nick come through, break these ones down, but then you don't even have to go anywhere. You don't got to find another channel. You don't got to search across YouTube. You subscribe here, turn on notifications. You can catch Nick and Rosie tomorrow morning reacting. Is Rosie on with you tomorrow? I said
no. Tomorrow it is Carter Hutton. We're gonna break down. Should mention as well. I had a wild night, just like talking to random former Leafs coaches. Talked to Ron Wilson. He sends his best. He can't guest on the show, but he is watching this team, which is great to see. And there's also the potential we could have a pretty marquee guest for the first time in history of the show of Leafs Morning Take. We've never had a big guest on the show, but there's a former Leafs head coach that could drop by on Friday. So make sure you keep it locked. We're having a great time bringing this coverage to you, and it fucking feels good to like cover a Maple Leafs victory. That's why, admittedly, I'm like, dude, I can't come on your show the first game because I know how the Leafs play in game ones. I'm like, give me game 2 because I know this team responds, and here we are. A big fucking victory. Hit the salts for me again. One more time, man. I'll leave.
All right, one more time. One more time. Here we go. Nick, thank you for joining tonight. I appreciate it.
That's for Lindy Ruff, too, okay? Lindy Ruff's back in Buffalo. What are the chances Paul Maurice ends up in Toronto again this summer? Can we do that?
Let's not even. There's
All right, bye everybody.
All
Go
right.
fucking Leafs go. Nationgear.ca. Buy your Bleed Blue shirt. I think there's a good chance we're gonna give away some Bleed Blue shirts on the show this week. So we're fucking fired up. Rosie's gonna be back on Wednesday. We're gonna tee up Game 3. That's all I got for tonight, bud.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate it. As always, make sure to tune in to Leafs Morning Take every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you to Nick Alberga for helping us break this one down. If you're watching right now, keep hitting the like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications, all that good stuff. We're going to continue to have post-game shows breaking these ones down. We're going to continue to have guests rolling through here. Look at that. 2 games in. Jay Rosehill, Saturday night, helping us break down Game 1. Nick Alberga, Game 2, helping us break down Game 2. Series is even. We're going to have a bunch of guests rolling through as we continue on throughout this series, as long as the playoffs go here. If you guys are watching right now and you want to call in, you want to talk about the game, you don't have to be on camera. You just want to call in and you want to give me your thoughts. You want to give me your input. You send me a message, whether it's on Twitter, Discord, Instagram, however you want to do it. If you want to DM TLNDC at TLNDC on Twitter, you can DM them. Make sure to send your messages over. See if they can, we'll get you guys links to call into the show so you guys can let us know your thoughts, ask questions, whatever it is, hot takes, predictions. We don't care. This is a fan-based show. We're going to have these unbelievable guests come through here. We're also going to listen to you guys in the chat, answer your questions, answer everything going on, and answer the super chats here as well. We are 5 likes away from 200, but I do see another super chat here, so let's get to that. All right, super chat here from Jamie Finley. He didn't send anything, but this is one of my buddies. He sent me a message on the side, said, forgot to put words in there, but hit the smelling salts. We need the smelling salts. Let's get the smelling salts. Shout out to Jamie Finley for the super chat. Thank you everyone who's watching, who has super chatted, who's liked, who's subscribed, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Let's hit the smelling salts here and continue on the show. Oh, what is that? Like 5 times tonight? 4 times? I don't know. I'm losing count. We're also 4 likes away from having to do it again. So keep hitting the like button. Subscribe here. We do appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Again, we'll continue to do these. If you are watching and you have not yet found us on any other platform, you can find me on all podcasting platforms if that's how you'd prefer to consume this content. You can find that anywhere at the Leafs Nation After Dark. So make sure to check that out. We are live while it goes on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, radio, and then podcasts after. Any way you want to consume this is user-friendly here. Leafs Nation After Dark. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in here so far tonight. We do appreciate the support as always, but thank you guys. A couple more things I want to get to, and the next one is pretty important. If we're going to talk about putting money in your pocket, if we're talking about what you're going to do on the weekend, a lot of people want to sit at home. Maybe you want to go to the movie, you want to hang out, you're going to spend time to do that. Another way to get a form of entertainment would be by signing up over with our friends at Bet365. If you have not already, you should be signed up at Bet365. We are extremely, extremely thrilled to welcome Bet365 as Leafs Nation After Dark sports betting partner just in time for the 2024 playoffs. We'll be here with Bet365 to provide you all the news, analysis, lines, and betting options for the playoffs. That was an accident. That's my bad. Did not mean to press that button. Lines and betting options for the playoffs. Bet365 is the largest sports betting platform globally. You can open an account with Bet365 today and use promo code TLNBonus. That's TLN bonus, TLNBONUS, to bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Remember, gambling can be addictive. Please play responsibly. Eligible iGames conducted and managed by IGO are only available to those physically present in the province of Ontario. You must be 19 plus to play. So make sure to check out Bet365 TLN bonus if you are trying to sign up for Bet365. We gave out on the pregame show. And as well, remember too, we pulled it up on screen. I showed you how easy it is to go to Bet365, how easy it is to find the markets, the games, all the options that they have listed there. It is insanely easy to go in, pick and choose what you want to bet, find anything that you're looking for, any markets, props. There's so many options that you could find there. That's how tonight I found Tyler Bertuzzi power play point at plus 400. Look, we did a quarter unit on this one to profit $100 here tonight. This was, I think, a masterclass of winning this one. Tyler Bertuzzi getting an opportunity on the first power play unit. Goes out there with Austin Matthews, John Tavares, Mitch Marner, getting put front and center in front of this net. A guy who is a legitimate power play threat. He plays in Boston last year in the first unit, 10 points in the 7 games that they play in the first round. He lights it up down the stretch with them on that first unit. All of a sudden, he gets thrown onto the first unit here in Toronto, and he becomes the player he was before. Like, it's some magical thing that's occurred, that he gets thrown in there, and all of a sudden, he's able to play, he's able to compete, and he's able to have this type of success. You take him off in the first game of the playoffs for who knows what the hell reason, to put Calle Yarncroke, who hasn't played in 6 weeks. You're going to get the guy fired up against this Bruins team in a playoff atmosphere on the road in Boston, and you're telling me you're going to give me plus 400 on this one? You're going to give me the option bet plus 400 on Tyler Bertuzzi to record a power play point. The guy almost doubled down on a goal and a power play point in the same play. Unfortunately, gets called off with a high stick, but then later on, you go to the Johnny T goal, and I think it was in the same power play there, and he's able to bury. Chef's kiss. Big win for us. Profit $100 on the night, $25 plus 400. That one returns $125, so $100 profit. Make sure you're gambling at Bet365. You must be 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Check that out. But thank you to our friends at Bet365 for that one. We got a couple more things before we can end off. One of those will include Smelling Salts here. We got 200 likes on the stream, so thank you guys very much. I will also answer some stuff in the chat here quickly before we get to the final stuff. But 200 likes. Thank you guys for the support. Appreciate it. It's at the Salts. Oh, there you go. Get it to 250 before then. Why not? All right. Another super chat. Let's get to that. Super chat. Haters will hate. First time super chatting on the live stream. Thank you very much. Haters will hate. They say, longtime Leaf fan. Shout out Leo and son Tristan. Thank you very much for the super chat. Shout out to Leo and son Tristan. You know what? Hopefully you guys are having a great night. We watched the Leafs victory. We watched them tie the series, split this one in Boston. You got Brad Marchand diving around all over the ice. They can't capitalize on the power play. Bert's giving them shit after the game. That's what it's all about. Big road win here tonight for this Leafs team. Shout out Leo and son Tristan. Shout out to them. Thank you for the super chat. I talked about Tyler Bertuzzi. I talked about the power play. I see here 6 1/3. For those of you who are new, here's your introduction to 6. I don't know if you're just a troll or what, but 6 says, and Bertuzzi takes a ridiculous penalty overpassed earlier instead of shooting. The play that I think you're referring to overpassing was the play in the first period where Bertuzzi gets the puck at the side of the net, tries to hit Matthews in the slot. I looked at that one over and over and over again. You know what? I don't have an issue with him passing that puck to Matthews there because he's looking at a left-handed shot coming through the slot. He's got a stick on the ice. He has a couple guys on him, but if Matthews is able to get to that puck, he's basically got an empty net past Ullmark to bury into early on in the first period. And the other way is that if he doesn't pass that, he's going to be trying to tuck it in, and he's just going to be trying to wrap it from the side. Like, I don't think he has that great of an angle. I'm fine with the pass across to Matthews, that try. As for the ridiculous penalty, is it really that ridiculous? I think that Nick put it perfectly. He didn't need to do what he did, but You do that to any other player, which, yeah, okay, maybe you need to have the recognition that that is who that is, but you do that to any other player, you're not getting in shit for that. He's not diving on the ice and rolling around like a clown. Like, this is not the Italian soccer team. We're not getting out the special water and bringing it out and putting a little towel, and then everyone's getting back up and you're good to go. Like, this is hockey, Brad. We're playing hockey, not tiddlywinks. At some point here, stand up, get ready to go. You're fine. We don't need to sell things like that. That's a pathetic excuse of a hockey play to draw that penalty. That's not drawing a penalty. That's just being soft as hell. I do agree that he probably didn't need to go over there and do that. But that being said, like, it's not like he went over there out of control swinging his stick around. He gave the guy a hack to the knee. If we're not doing stuff like that, if he's doing that and he gets away with it, every Leafs fan in the world is sitting there with a tent pitched right now, talking about how tough and mean this team is and how happy they are to see that. Like, come on. It's tough. And as for Bertuzzi was okay tonight. You know what? I'm sorry. I don't know what fucking game you were watching. That whole first line was incredible. That whole first line was pretty dialed in here tonight. I thought they created chances. I thought they put a lot of pressure on the Bruins. I think they held a lot of or sustained a lot of offensive zone time that was hard to handle. They get Matthews gets 3 points here tonight. Domi gets a goal and an assist. Like, how can you be upset with what those guys brought? How can we sit here and say he was okay? This guy was fine. That first line was buzzing. Well, I saw a tweet during the game that the expected goal share after two periods, or the expected goal percent after 2 periods for that line was 80% when they were on the ice. You can say whatever the hell you want about numbers, but 80% is pretty in line with what we were watching with, or with what we were seeing with our eyes. The numbers were exactly what was going on. That line was pretty dialed in. Keep hitting the like button. If we get to 250, we'll obviously do the smelling salts again. You know how it works. But keep it rocking. We got a couple more things here. We got the super chat added in, so I hope you guys like that. I don't know if you want to give your feedback in the chat about whether or not you like the super chat. Let us know. You can comment after the fact your thoughts on the super chat. I want to hear about it. We're also going to continue to add some stuff to the stream. Try to improve things as we go along here. I see some other stuff, and also I'm going to try to not fuck up and play the super chat animation accidentally when I'm trying to do something else. So sorry about that. Hopefully I'm using some new assets here. I'm working into these. We'll get better. Let's get to we got a war in the chat about whether or not Bertuzzi was okay or good tonight, so whatever. But that's where we're at. Like, we're watching this Leafs team tie the series up, go 1-1 against the Bruins, play a really good road game where your first line dominates and someone's upset that the first line left winger, in their opinion, was okay. The guy was pretty dialed. Let's be real. All right, let's get to our play of the game. Play of the game tonight. This one is simple. This one is real easy. There is one simple solution. One simple answer for what the play of the game here tonight was. The play of the game is easily the Auston Matthews goal. I have talked about it over and over and over again about you need your big boys, you need your best players to be your best players. You need them to show up and be your best players. John Tavares shows up and has a fucking game here tonight. I gotta find it because I need to give credit to where credit's due. He's in the chat all the time. I can see him in the chat there right now. You know, I got a text before the game started. I got a text to say, you know, I was a little bit down. I thought William Nylander wasn't going to play tonight, and I thought this team was going to be in a tough position. And then I got a text from my buddy, Brimmy. You see him in the chat there. And he says, effectively along the lines of, tonight is going to be the captain's game. JT legacy game. That's what he said. JT legacy game. This guy shows up and has himself a night. His winger was MIA. I got a text during the game here tonight saying, is Marner playing? That was effectively what I think all Leafs fans across the world were thinking watching this one. Is Mitch Marner playing? And yet John Tavares had a really strong game, I thought. I don't know that Nyes had the greatest game. I love that he battled. I love that he battled through stuff. I love his contributions to the game here tonight. Johnny T, I think he was pretty dialed, and you kind of fucking need that from the guy. Austin Matthews was a mutant out there. He was engaged in physical play. He wasn't losing battles. He made one egregious error. Let's call it what it was. He took one egregious error where he turned it over to Marchand. That ultimately ended up leading to, I think that was the play that the Lyubushkin penalty, the Tyler Bertuzzi penalty happens. He makes a bad play to Marchand within the blue line. It goes back the other way. Marchand gets a chance, saved by Samsonov, but then that's when you get the Lyubushkin, Charlie Coyle scrum going on. As that one kind of walks away, then that's when Bertuzzi goes over. Okay, so that is a tough scene there, for sure. Matthews was very, very good tonight. You want to talk about big boys showing up, look over at the Bruins side of things. DeBrusk, an assist. Marchand, an assist. Pastrnak, a goal. Zack, an assist there tonight. Okay, they got on the board. Austin Matthews, a goal and 2 assists here tonight. He had 8 shots on goal. And this is what I was kind of talking about with Nick about the first game for that first line. Matthews had 5 shots on goal on 10 attempts in the first game. 8 shots on goal here tonight. He's around it. He's creating chances. He's creating opportunities. I just think that they didn't go in the first game. I was worried because I'm sitting here going, if this happens again, he creates those chances, he has those opportunities, and they don't go in, this team is going to be fucked. A goal, 2 assists. He's +2. He has 8 shots on goal. Tyler Bertuzzi, an assist, 5 shots on goal. Max Domi, a goal, an assist, +2, 2 shots on goal. Those guys were unbelievable tonight. That pass by Max Domi out to Austin Matthews, for those who don't realize the level of kind of thinking that goes into that play, Austin Matthews has his guy beat to the outside. He's got the step on him to the outside. But Domi, where he is not going to be able to get it clean through there if he's just making a play on the ice. This guy sends a Hail Mary pass out to Matthews, tape to glove, intentional, grabs the pass, puts it down without doing anything, beats the defender, goes in and makes a nasty move, beats Ullmark, sends the guy to the shadow realm as he goes past them, and tucks that one top tit. Incredible goal, incredible play, brilliant level of intelligence by Max Domi, as Siri yells at me, of Max Domi to see that play, read that play, and execute that play. That is easily the play of the game. I saw someone in here talk about David Kampf. Like, what a guy to bring up on a night like this. Asking me to talk about David Kampf, his night, the way he played here. He made one egregious error here as well. The penalty kill that results in the goal that should have missed the net and hit Liljegren's skate and goes in. David Kampf played a really strong game, I thought. He made that one error where he kind of looked like he was thinking that Liljegren was going to play it. He was trying to hand it off. There was a second guessing, a lack of communication, and then he doesn't play the puck. It gets turned over. Boston grabs it. Now it's in the back of your net. Bad error. Tough error to have. You cannot have that, especially in the playoffs. You need to be communicating. David Kampf took a lot of shit at the beginning of the year, by myself included, and I think it was justified because of the way that he was playing and the fact that he was fresh off a contract. David Kampf is never going to blow you away with highlight reel plays and fancy up and down the ice, north-south stuff where he's coast-to-coast stuff, where he's just ripping around everyone, cutting to the net, going, making like Austin Matthews-like plays on Allmark tonight. That's not who he is. That's not what he's going to do. What David Kampf does and what he did really, really well tonight, and he deserves credit for, as was brought up in the chat, is do the simple things and do the little things right. Execute on the little things. Yeah, he fucked up on that penalty kill. But then you know what he did after? He commits to getting the puck out of the zone. Not that play. I'm talking about throughout the rest of the game. Wins battles. Wins draws. Once he gets into the offensive zone, he was able to sustain pressure down low. They were able to maintain a cycle. Like, the penalty kill, I think he looked pretty good out there. Obviously, as far as it goes for the Leafs penalty kill here tonight, it's okay. 1 for 2. But I think that what we saw out of them was pretty good, and that other penalty that they scored was... They were playing pretty well until that point, and it was going wide. It just hit Liljegren's skate, and it was just one egregious error. It happens. David Kampf played really well. That fourth line played really well. They deserve a lot of credit. They deserve a lot of respect for the way that they played. I was genuinely very, very, very impressed with their level of play here tonight. Very, very impressed. Kudos to them, man. Like, you got to give it to a fourth line when we've watched over and over and over again. We have watched over and over this team have a line 3 and a line 4 that is just vanilla as can be. They go out on the ice, they play their minutes, they don't create opportunities, they don't have anything against, and they get off the ice. We've got a fourth line right now who's generating momentum, who can hem the other team into their zone, who can create opportunities for your first line who comes out after, and who can give your power play an opportunity to come out, because now you're wearing them down and then the other team is taking penalties. Happened here tonight. Kudos to them. Brim, Zach, your hair is looking phenomenal tonight, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to get a fresh cut. Keep it fresh during the playoffs here. That's the goal. Thank you to everyone in the chat who's ripping right now. 3 more, as Brim said there. I think that pretty much covers it. With Nick, we talked about Samsonov. We talked about the Marner stuff, which is going to continue to be a story, whether you like it or not. I know we've got the Marner super fan club in the chat every now and then, but you don't show up in the playoffs, you don't put up points, then you're going to get called out, and you deservedly so. Like, you cannot be getting paid $10.93 million having the panel talk about, oh, we got to put this guy out there so that he can get his game going, and then you're -1, you got no points on the night. Come on, man. This is when you got to show up. This is when you got to show up more than ever. Let's get to our final thing here of the night. Let's get to our grades of the game. Don't have an animation for this one, so we'll just get to this right now. Send your grades in the chat. I want to know what everybody else thinks about this one, where you grade this on your scale. We're just going alphabet here. What do you grade it in grade school? What score do you give to this game for this Leafs team as well, while we give out these grades? If you're watching and you haven't yet, hit that like button on the stream. We're 16 likes away from 250 on tonight's show. If you haven't, hit that like button. Let's just get to 250. You guys have made me do the smelling salts a bunch of times. Nick made me do an extra one. Our boy Finley made us do an extra one. I'm going to be up till 2 a.m. after this. Hit the like button while you're watching. Send your grades in the chat. I'm going to go with an A. In the regular season, maybe this one is slightly lower. Maybe it's like an A-, but I'm going to go A. A for this. My reasoning is you go 1 for 3 on the power play. I texted Nick during the game and I just said, like, do you have any, do you have any explanation? Can you offer me anything, please? Like, I have sat here and I have been scratching my head. I have asked people who play professional hockey that I know what the hell is going on, and they scratch their heads. You guys in the chat, you guys don't understand what happens on the power play. Nobody has an answer of why these guys it just dries up when it gets to the playoffs. When it gets to the most important time of the year, they just can't score. And it's like, what the hell is going on? 1 for 3, 33% on the night. I can take that. You know, that's respectable for this game tonight. You were able to capitalize. It was a big moment. Ties the game up. Like, these are things where it's like you used your power play to even this one up, and then you win 3-2. Like, in the grand scheme of things, that's a big moment, and it was by your captain. Tyler Bertuzzi creating shit in front of the net. Tyler Bertuzzi goes to the corner, wins a battle, makes the play up the wall to Matthews, gets the puck over to Tavares in the slot, who scores that one. Thank God the power play is able to get that going. Penalty kill goes 1 for 2. The first one is just really unfortunate. It hits Liljegren's skate and goes in, and it's like, it was going 5 feet wide. Like, it was going through the crease, nowhere near the net, and it hits his skate and goes in. It was also a breakdown by David Kampf, and I think, like, otherwise, the penalty kill itself did not break down. He just made one dumb play. Errors happen. I think the penalty kill was pretty good. I think the way that they closed out in the third period on that penalty kill was pretty good as well. In terms of, you know, shots blocked, okay, whatever. Boston wins 18-11. And, like, who cares about that one? I'm not really concerned, just ripping through the box score. Hits, 44-41. Leafs are staying right there in the physical game with Boston. Shots on goal. Leafs outshoot the Bruins here again. And as Nick said, I think that the Leafs kind of wore them down a little bit. And the one thing that I think that I forgot to bring up with Nick, but I'll just kind of say here in closing as I'm talking about this, is you also had, you're seeing this Leafs team and the character and the identity. They bring it to the other team first, more often than not. They bring the battle to them now. They're not just standing there waiting for Boston to punch them in the face so that they can punch them back. They'll go in there and they'll start the scrum. Tyler Bertuzzi will chase down Brad Marchand at the end of the game. Max Domi will slash Brad Marchand in the hand off the opening draw. Like, they're willing to piss them off and say, fuck you, we're here to play. We're here to play playoff hockey. The concern and the reason that I was frustrated in game 1 is because of the big boys. No points for any of them. Not able to bury. Samsonov was not good in game 1. There's reason for concern for Leafs fans to come out of that one and have that level of frustration. This here tonight, watching Matthews play the way that he did, watching Tavares play the way that he did, makes me feel so much better. So much better about this team. Because if those guys can do that consistently, I think that there's a different outlook on this playoffs. If they're just going to falter back to who they've been before into the next one, yeah, I'm going to be concerned. Again, if they show up and they play like they did in game 1, just from a execution standpoint, it's going to be really frustrating for people. If they go in there and they get shelled, the arena goes quiet, and Samsonov lets in soft goal after soft goal, it's going to be tough. But you show up tonight. This is a good road win. You win 3-2. Like, you kill off penalties to close this one out. This was a good road win for the Leafs to split the series and bring this back home. I'm just going with an A. It's not an A+. It's not a perfect game. It's an A. We hit 250 likes on the stream. Thank you to everyone who's liked it. We appreciate that. As always, keep hitting the like button. Send your thoughts in the chat. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Thank you to everyone who's liked, subscribed, turn on notifications. Let's hit the smelling salts. Whoa. All right. Closing thoughts. This Leafs team, Wednesday night, with Nick in the building. He said 4-2. Not trying to be a hero. 5-2 Leafs. I think they get out to a lead. Boston chases. and they say, no, no, no. Nothing for you. You're not getting back in this one. We're shutting it down. The big boys push. Matthews rolls. First line rolls. Johnny T. Legacy playoffs. The guy's going to push pace. He's going to get it done. Those defense. You know who's been really quiet? I haven't even said his name once in 2 post-game shows. Morgan Riley. Morgan Riley, he shows up on Wednesday. Back home. Tessa Virtue, she's in the box. She's watching the game. She's getting on her feet. Morgan, point up in the crowd. Let her know what's up. Morgan Riley ripping around. He's going to be buzzing on Wednesday night. Ilya Samsonov, you're going to hear the crowd. Sammy. Get on your feet, Toronto. It's going to be rocking in Scotiabank. If you're in the chat, you're watching right now, and you're going to the game on Wednesday, you get in those seats. You get there for puck drop. That's the first thing. You're in your seats by puck drop. If you need to get 35 beers before you sit down to your seat, show up 2 hours early. Don't get there 10 minutes before the game and go get in the line. Show up 2 hours early. Gas your beers before you get to your seat. Then go get 2 more. Then go to your seat. Gas the beers. Grab more. Then sit down. You sit in those seats for puck drop. If that building isn't full, if it's not loud as fuck in there, and I don't see towels waving while I'm watching at home on the couch, I'm going to be so pissed. Nick's going to be there giving us a report from in the arena, letting us know what's going on. This is not a pep talk for the players on the ice. This is a pep talk for you guys in the chat. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this after the fact, you show up to that rink and you get loud. Download the app, order beers to your seat. Don't get up and leave. Sit there, get those fucking beers to your seat, because that game is going to be electric and they need you. This crowd needs to be involved. You watched what happened when the Vancouver Canucks played last night. That building was electric. Get in your seats. Leafs fans, that'll do it for me here tonight. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everyone watching. Again, if you are going to the game on Wednesday, get loud. Get in your seats and get fucking loud. Thank you so much for tuning into the show here tonight. I appreciate it. As always, hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. The boys coming up tomorrow morning. Carter Hutton, Nick Alberga, reacting to tonight's game, looking ahead to Wednesday's game, Game 3. Thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. This has been game number 2 of the Toronto Maple Leafs 2024 Stanley Cup playoff run, defeating the Boston Bruins in a beautiful performance. Beautiful. 3-2. Austin Matthews, a goal, 2 assists. Max Domi, a goal and an assist. These guys are absolutely buzzing right now. That first line, buzzing. And they're going to keep it going on Wednesday. William Nylander wasn't even playing. Thanks so much to everyone who tuned in. That's going to do it for me. I'll see you back here on Wednesday night following the game, following another Leafs victory when they take this series 2-1. But for now, series is tied 1-1. We'll see you on Wednesday. Thanks so much for tuning in. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.